Hello, everyone. Welcome to another demo of the Genloop platform. And in this, I will be covering the chat experience, the conversational BI. How do you go and ask ad hoc questions and get trustable governed answers for yourself? So after you've connected to databases, gotten live with context in less than 5 minutes, you come to this chat screen where you can start asking your ad hoc questions as if you have an analyst already on the team in the first day itself. And maybe I want to ask level two what question like average interest rate across loans, MOM, in 2025. Now, what Genloop starts doing is, first of all, it understands the question's intent. It tries to reason over that multimodal living context graph that we have to create a plan. If it has built experience over the past, it just and has confidence to execute, it just goes ahead and execute. We call that feature confidence cruising. If it thinks that, hey, this is something ambiguous, it will ask for clarifications or it will ask for approvals of the plan and then go ahead. In this case, it feels confident that I have a proper understanding of this from the context that I have, and it will go around answering this question. So what we have is it went into that context, it found out what were the relevant tables, the column definitions, business rules, etc. Figured it does not need any clarification, and then started, building the execution plan, which database it goes to. So in this case, what KPIs I want to use, what will columns, tables, etc. I want to use. Writes the SQL query, goes to the base. In this case, it's a MySQL database along with some unstructured information that is used to define the policy, and gets the results from there, brings them, charge them, and presents it to the user. So we have things like this. Now, when this result is presented, you have a bunch of options here. First of all, you have a very crisp answer. You can view the table, what columns you want to view. You can view the chart. You can change what metrics you want to view in the chart. You can download this as an image, as a CSV, as export a filtered data to this. Or as we saw last time, you can also save it to a live board. For example, I create a live board called interest rate. And then it would directly save this dashboard. So imagine like you being able to create dashboards for yourself without needing a lot of bandwidth from the data teams and weeks and days of efforts to kind of understand your concept, model it, and then get the final dashboard. So within minutes, you're able to get a dashboard for yourself. We can deep dive on that also later. Now you get this. There are settings that how much information you want to send to the user, but let's say this is the user where we are fine sending the backend information. So in that case, they're also able to see the sequels. They can, like if this is something that they want to edit directly, they can edit it here. So very trustable. They can engage with buttons like, hey, this is something that worked very well. This is a new concept that we have heard, especially works when you have some clarification that you have offered in the answer chain and you remember this. You can give feedback. And in case, let's say I'm like, hey, I want to go to the CEO with this number, I can request validation. I can select a team member. I can add a comment, and that opens a PR review request that they can take a look at and then give you confidence. So an answer could be very well validated. You have the workflows for it. Now, that is something which is, level one, level two trend kind of a question. But what if you have something complicated that requires getting different answer, coding, etc.? So let's say I was again on this financial database and I say, why did we refuse loan to Kimberly Brook? This is the person that we refused loan to. Why did we refuse them? And the analysis of this requires you to get the loan information and every financial information from that from a SQL table. So you can see it wrote an SQL query, got that information. It requires you to get loan details from a separate table and then get the criteria using RAG on what exactly are the criteria to reject the loan. And then you get the answer that, hey, the credit score was poor and the DTI ratio was high risk based on the policy that we have. And that is why we rejected this. So you could do things like that as well. And the answer is very much grounded in the context with proper citations. So you have things like, oh, if this is something, I'm getting this from the first data. And you can actually go and refer to that data, the SQL, how it got it. You can save it to live boards if you want. So a very explainable, grounded, contextual answer is given to you. And that is what makes us the leader across benchmarks, much ahead of companies like OpenAI, Anthropic in the data analysis space, and even like Snowflake, AT&T, etc. We are the leaders in Spider 2. We are now also leaders on the live SQL bench. And the reason is that we are able to bring answers that are very much grounded in the context without hallucination in a very cost-effective manner. Yeah, thank you for taking a look.